All right, friends. Well, welcome back to Park Junkie. I'm your host, Todd C. here with this week's National Park Newscast. It's all the news that's fit to print from our national parks. Now, you might be looking at the scene behind me here and wondering to yourself, saying, I've never actually seen that part of Yellowstone. And, well, you would be correct that you haven't seen this part of Yellowstone because this part of Yellowstone does not exist. That's right. Park Junkie is coming to you today from a new location here just outside Zion National Park in southern Utah. Now, I had a absolutely fabulous time up there in Yellowstone. The world's first national park did not fail to deliver an absolutely epic summer, adventure after adventure after adventure. Each hike that we did up there, spectacular. The wildlife encounters were unbelievable. And just on my last hike, last Sunday, almost a week ago now, went into Pelican Valley up there with an old friend, and we did a quick hike out there to the Pelican Valley, Pelican Springs cabin. We were going to try to do Pelican Cone, but that's a long hike. We didn't get that one in, but we did come across a pack of wolves out there on the trail. We were within 30 yards of the leader of the pack there. We believe this was the Molly's pack. Spectacular afternoon up there in Yellowstone, just hiking out into Pelican Valley and coming across a pack of wolves. I went to bed that night totally satisfied with my day, and I woke up the next morning with a cool breeze in the air. It's that kind of breeze, summertime is over. And I thought to myself, man, I'll bet it's really nice down in southern Utah right now. So I just packed up with no delay and headed on south to Utah down here. Got down here, and guess what? It's not, fall's not here yet. Summer's still in full effect. We're about triple degree temperatures here, triple digit temperatures outside in Zion here. And my first day back, that led me to hike the Narrows top down Chamberlain's Ranch to the Temple of Sinawava, right through the Virgin Narrows. Absolutely wonderful water hike, and I'll have a video on that coming out real soon. But for now, I'm going to get to today's news, the National Park Newscast, and we'll start that right about now. All right, friends. Well, I hope the lighting is okay here for our newscast today. Like I said, warm down here in Zion, so I am taking shelter under some oak trees here at a park outside of Zion, and it's really nice in the shade, but if you get out in the sun, it is a death sentence. So we'll do the news from right here in the shade, and I just hope this works out. Our first story today coming out of Yellowstone National Park, the park officials announcing that they will no longer be requiring reservations to drive out to Slough Creek from the Tower Junction area. That process was instituted a couple of weeks ago to enable folks to drive out there and have limited numbers. However, the park is suspending that, and as of September 8th, you will be able to drive your private vehicle from Tower Junction out to Slough Creek without a reservation. Now, you won't be able to drive past Slough Creek into Lamar Valley, as that area is still under construction between Slough Creek and the northeast entrance into Silvergate and Cook City out there. Now, park officials do report that they expect to have that road open by mid-October, as well as the old Gardner Road coming from Gardner up to Mammoth Hot Springs there at the north entrance of the park. Both of those, as we've reported previously here on Park Junkie, supposed to be open by mid-October, and it looks like they're on track to meet their deadline there. Now, if you're getting into any backcountry activities up there in that northeastern section of the park, you'll need to keep in mind that a lot of that area over on the eastern side up there is still closed. Maintenance crews have not been able to get into some of those areas yet to verify the structural integrity of some bridges, and backcountry campsites have not been reviewed yet, but that should be coming they should be accomplishing that in the coming months, and by next year we'll hopefully have all those trails open back up in the northeastern section of the park. And it looks like for the opening in 2023, Yellowstone's going to be a full force once again, with all of the entrances and all of the areas of the park open to visitor access. Other stories coming out of Yellowstone, authorities up there reporting that they are elevating the fire danger level in the park to high, and that's not going to come with any additional restrictions. Of course, normal restrictions in Yellowstone regulate that your campfire must be held in a metal fire ring provided by the park. So we'll just keep in mind that the fire danger is elevating in the park as we move into these drier months. Hopefully we have some rains to suppress some of that danger, and we don't have to elevate to a fire restriction in Yellowstone National Park. Moving on to other other news out of the national parks, Death Valley down there in Eastern California. As we know, they've had a lot of rain this summer there in Death Valley, but it turns out that August 5th was indeed the rainiest day in Death Valley's history. The park previously reported that they received 1.46 inches of rain that day in a 3-hour period. That came up just short of the 1.47 record, so 100th of an inch short. However, after they have reevaluated that measurement, they're now saying that they received about 1.7 inches of rain in a 3-hour period there in Death Valley National Park on August 5th, making it by far the rainiest day in the park's history. Now, we'll have to keep in mind that Death Valley does receive about an average of 2 inches of rain on an annual basis. So to receive 1.7 inches in a 3-hour period is a remarkable rainfall, and we can understand why Park Service road crews are still working to clear debris from the highways there in our lowest, hottest, and driest national park out there in Eastern California. Now, Death Valley, massive, 3.4 million acres. There's over 1,400 miles of road in the park, and so at this point, the park does have Highway 190 open from Lone Pine over to Furnace Creek, and then you can exit out of Furnace Creek through the southeastern entrance there as well to Amargosa. However, you can drive down to Badwater and Dante's View as well, but a lot of the roads in the park still closed at this time as crews try to continue to clear highways there in the park. I know the Federal Highway Administration has authorized some monies and a contract to help aid in that clearing of the roads there in Death Valley, and this should help accelerate the efforts to clear off areas such as the Badwater Road south there from Badwater to Shoshone, the Mud Canyon Road, the Beatty Cutoff, and hopefully they can get into some of the backcountry areas and clear some of the roads out to the Ubehebe Crater and the racetrack, Saline Valley, and so on as well, Titus Canyon. A lot of really exciting roads out there in Death Valley. If you're headed out into that area soon, you may want to check with the Park Service website to see exactly what the status is of the roads that you'd like to take to get to the viewpoints that you have on your list. Also be aware that the temperatures in Death Valley right now here on the Labor Day weekend soaring into the 120 to 125 degree range. So if you're headed out into the park, beware that it is going to be a hot weekend there in Death Valley. Other news out of California there, just south of Death Valley, Mojave National Preserve down there, just between I-15 and I-40 northeast of Joshua Tree National Park. They have had an active monsoon season as well. In fact, August, one of their rainiest months on record. Average rainfalls for the month of August there in Mojave National Preserve at 1.2 inches, and this August they received over 8 inches of rain. Massive increase in precipitation in August of 2022, a 7-fold increase above their average. This has led to the complete closure of Mojave National Preserve at this time. All roads, facilities, visitor centers, everything in that preserve is closed at this time. And Park Service officials warned that motorists should take heed of the road closed signs there in the preserve. Now, it is reported that this motorist drove right past a road closed sign due to the fact that their onboard navigation system told them to take this road as a shortcut. However, the road obviously not a shortcut, and it appears that these folks are going to have a little problem charging the old Tesla Model S from the nearest charging station, as I think the cord is a little too short to accommodate that charging distance. So you're going to want to keep an eye out. If your GPS is telling you to go through Mojave National Preserve, it is in error as those roads are closed. You want to check with the Mojave National Preserve website to see if those roads are opening anytime soon. They should be giving updates on that. I haven't seen anything saying that they're opening anything anytime soon. The Sequoia Kings Canyon still seeking public input on a proposed increase in campground fees there at 14 front country campsites. Fees will increase from $22 currently to $32 in 2024. So if you have any thoughts on that you'd like to present to Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park, you can do that through a link in the description as well. And Alaska's Katmai National Park and Preserve also seeking public input on a proposed campground fee increase there at the Brooks Camp. That's that Brooks Camp right on the Brooks River where the bears are always feeding on the salmon. There's a camp right there, and the park is proposing that they will raise the campground rates there during peak season from $12 a night to $18 a night, and then they're also proposing that they will increase the off-season fees as well. So if you have thoughts on that, you can comment to Katmai National Park and Preserve through a link in the description below. News from here in Zion, road crews will be repainting the lines, the center lines, and the fog lines on all the park's paved roadways over the next week to week and a half. The Zion Canyon to Mount Carmel Highway will be closed from the East Gate to Canyon Junction from 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. on September 6th, 7th, and 8th. So they're closing the roads at night to do this work, so it shouldn't have too much of an effect on visitor traffic here in the park. They're also going to be doing the same process, the same improvements on the Kolob Terrace Road, which runs from Virgin up to the Kolob Reservoir, and on the canyon, Kolob Canyons Road, which is up off of I-15 there on the western section of the park. Those roads will be experiencing closures during the evening hours on September 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th of next week. Other news coming out of national parks here in the Southwest, El Morro National Park over here in western New Mexico, not too far away. This little national monument just south of I-40 over there, I believe in Spanish, El Morro translates to the bluff. And I stopped in here a couple of times on my travels across the state. And the red sandstone cliffs rising out of the desert landscape there in western New Mexico. There's some overlooks and some petroglyphs and a nice little stop there at El Morro. However, if you're there on the weekend of September 10th and September 11th, you may want to consider stopping through to witness a reenactment of the passing of the U.S. Camel Corps. Now, if you're not familiar with the United States Camel Corps, this is some of our interesting history from the mid 1800s there, back in the middle of the 19th century. Our government used camels in travel across the desert Southwest after we had acquired those lands in the Mexican War of 1848-1849. The idea for using camels for transport out here first noted back in 1836 by Army Major George Crossman, who suggested that the United States government should procure camels in order to facilitate the ease of travel as we expanded westward. But the idea didn't really take off until 1854, when Secretary of War Jefferson Davis included in his report to Congress a suggestion that the United States military should acquire camels. The next year, in 1855, the U.S. Congress did appropriate $30,000 for the procurement of a lot of camels. They purchased 25 camels, and those camels set west in 1857 under the command of former Navy Lieutenant Edward Beale. Now, Beale reported in his report to Congress that those camels carried 600 pounds each, handled it without a problem, stating that he would rather have one camel than 4 mules for such work and such travel out there in the desert Southwest. If you haven't been to El Morro and you're passing through that region during that time, September 10th and 11th, 2022 would be an excellent time to stop in and see camels cruising through El Morro National Monument, because how often do you have the opportunity to see camels in a U.S. national park? Should be kind of a cool event down there. All right, moving over to the eastern United States, Kentucky, there, the Bluegrass State, Mammoth Cave National Park. That's the world's largest known subterranean corridor system, a cave system over there with more than 420 miles, and they will be experiencing some rehabilitation there on some of their trails in that zone underground as well. Beginning in November of this year, November of 2022, the park will close down a few tours, including the Grand Avenue Tour, the Domes and Dripstones Tour, the Intro to Caving Tour, the Frozen Niagara, and the Wild Cave Tour will be suspended while construction goes on down between the frozen entrance, or the Frozen Niagara entrance, and the new entrance. The Park Service's maintenance crews will be in there. They're going to harden the trail surface, widen some staircases. They're going to put in some seating benches and reconstruct a few railings around overlooks to provide better viewing options for the Drapery Room and the Crystal Lake. So that could be a benefit to future visitors there in the park. But if you're planning to visit, if you're planning to go over and visit Mammoth Cave during the next year, you may want to consider the closures that will be in effect during those months. They're hoping to have that project done by the summer of 2023. So if you're looking to go into Kentucky's southern part of Kentucky there and hit Mammoth Cave National Park, keep that in mind. There are activities above ground there as well, such as mountain biking and kayaking and canoeing on the Green River, as well as a number of hiking trails there through the woodland areas of Mammoth Cave National Park. We have Indiana Dunes over there in northwestern Indiana. They will be hosting the Outdoor Adventure Festival September 9th, 10th, and 11th. There will be activities for folks of all ages and physical abilities with hiking, biking, kayaking, photography, birding, you name it. However, the highlight of this weekend may be a appearance on September 10th by Candace and Robert Tabern, and they are a young couple who have already visited all 423 units of the National Park Service. They are going to be giving a talk and answering questions regarding their journey on September 10th between the hours of 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. So if you're up there in Indiana Dunes National Park, you might want to stop in and check that out. Admission to the national park will be free during the Outdoor Adventure Festival. In other news coming out of Texas, Guadalupe Mountains National Park is celebrating its 50th anniversary. This park set aside back at September 30th of 1872 by the U.S. Congress. Now, it took a while before the actual authorization of that took place, but they are celebrating their 50th anniversary with a number of ranger-led hikes and historical tours through some of the park's homes. I imagine like the McKittrick Canyon house up there, and taking some ranger-led tours up into some of the really cool areas of Guadalupe Mountains National Park. This is a seldom visited park. A lot of folks don't know about it. I have been going there for years and absolutely love Guadalupe Mountains National Park, but if your visit's anything like mine, be ready for some wind down there in West Texas, because every time I go to Guadalupe Mountains, it seems like it is an absolute wind fest down there. All right, friends, well, that's going to wrap up today's news coverage here from our national parks. Thanks, as always, for tuning in. If you enjoy the content here on the Park Junkie channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you're notified of when I drop some new content, because we're going to have a lot of really cool stuff coming out over the next few months down here in the desert Southwest for probably the next couple months before I head back eastbound to go tour some parks over there. You can hit me up at parkjunkie.com. That's your fix for national park info. I'm going to be rehabilitating that website. It's going to be getting a makeover here in the coming weeks and months as well, so that's kind of exciting. I hope to have some new content brought out on that website as well and turn it into more of a video blog style over there as well, with guides to the parks coming through in video format on parkjunkie.com over the next year. So that's we got that to look forward to. You can check me out over at Instagram, The Park Junkie, and on Facebook, Park Junkie as well. As always, friends, thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, and I'll be talking to you real soon here with a video from the Zion Narrows. Have a great day. Cheers.